response been from the governor's mansion on all these developments? I mean, this is the LA Times documenting this, Kevin.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As you say, a little surprising that you had some, good journalism there. But frankly, the governor and the legislature have seemingly devised a set of policies designed to, maximize the scale of this problem and have refused to do any of the common sense things that would actually get it under control. Like, law enforcement is just completely overwhelmed. There's very little that they can do about it. It's totally, as you mentioned, squeezing out the legal market that's been created. But an attempt by one of my Republican colleagues in the legislature to make these large-scale grow operations a felony couldn't even get a vote. Couldn't even get a vote in the California supermajority legislature. Not to mention the fact that we've so thoroughly weakened our criminal laws across the board that it makes it very difficult for law enforcement to deal with all of the other criminal activity that's associated with these grows.
Now, your governor, who was not recalled, Gavin Newsom, he was proud for his part in the legalization effort. Watch.
The state was one of the early adopters of a new approach as it relates to cannabis reform, legalization around adult use of marijuana. It was a civil rights call from our perspective. I was proud to be out front in those efforts.
Civil rights? How are those civil rights now looking of the people who've been killed or subjected to violence and other threats at this point? I mean, this is just a complete nightmare.
Oh, it's a farce, Laura. And I'll tell you, it hits very close to home for me. Because we had a sheriff's deputy in one of the counties that I represent who was responding to an incident at an illegal grow and lost his life. They opened fire on him. And by the way, the two people who did it were in the country illegally. And the U.S. attorney for our region said that California's sanctuary state law hindered the investigation in bringing them to justice. And so it's just another example of how California's policies are so backwards. And your clip from the governor there is perfect, because they do exactly the opposite of those Democrats in power who are promoting them claim they'll do.
And Mr. Representative, this isn't even discussing yet what actual weed, legal or not, with its high THC levels, is doing to our young people. The New York Times blew up the story in June, a piece about how psychosis, addiction to chronic vomiting, as weed becomes more potent. Now the THC levels are as high as 100% in these weed compounds, from gummies to edibles to everything else. So everyone thought, oh yay, it's all gonna be great and legal, and we're not gonna have any legal. You got kids who are throwing themselves off parking garages because they think they can fly on this stuff.
Yeah, and the drug problem in general and its connection to mental health and many of the issues that are facing our youth nowadays, I think that you are correct that it may well tie into all of that as well. And so, this is kind of the hallmark of a Gavin Newsom policy, is he wants to be first. He wants to be leading. He wants to say California is a model for the nation. That's actually what he has said. California is a model for the nation. But then when you look at how it actually turned out, we have a state that people are leaving in record numbers.
Representative, it's great to see you tonight. Thank you so much. We're watching your congressional race as well.
You bet. Thank you, Laura.